sir. Yes, ma'am.
What
Yes,
it do,
yes, yes,
family?
yes, yes. Welcome, welcome, welcome back to the Dynastyers podcast. I am one of your hosts, your boy, Darius Capers, aka Kung Fu Cape on the Twitch. Darius Capers on all my social medias. I'm gonna go ahead and pass it around the room so I can get everybody else to introduce themselves to you. Starting with Henry, go ahead and introduce yourself to the people.
What's up, everybody? It's your boy, it's your friend, it's your partner, the homie, the neighborhood hope dealer himself, Henry Capers. I'm glad to be with y'all today. You can always check me out at Long Live My Reign, all caps on Instagram. You can also tap in with me at the Capers Cares Foundation, where we're always doing some amazing, amazing work for our community. Shout out to the Capers Cares Foundation. So glad to be doing work. Yeah.
And last but not least, I'm gonna pitch it to my boy Alex. Want to introduce yourself?
Peace and love, all Dynastyers listeners and members. It's your boy, your co-host with the most, Alex Reed, back with y'all again. Um, please follow me, Tingo Bands _ at the end of it, and let's get to the material.
Yeah.
Yes, just like Alex mentioned, man, we're gonna go ahead and jump into the material, man, and we are going to start off with a hot topic. Right into it, playing no games. Topic from yesterday, man. The new Legion of Boom, Seattle Seahawks dismantled, dismembered, demolished the New York Giants, 24-3. Man, their defense was a major part of that victory as they sacked Daniel Jones 11 times and as they forced him to throw multiple interceptions. Quandre Diggs got one, Witherspoon took one back to the crib, and it was just pretty much a dominant victory, man. So, Alex, I know this was a topic that you really wanted to talk about, man. So I'm gonna come to you first, and I actually want to get your opinion on it, man. What was your thoughts on this Seattle Seahawks demolition of the New York Giants?
First things first, Pete Carroll was definitely right about Russell Wilson. That's number one. He done made a new Legion of Boom. We're talking about 11 sacks, which is it's tough enough to get 2 or 3, but 11 is carrying Daniel Jones to a new record of sacks. And what I mean new record, family, is Daniel Jones got 44 sacks last season for every, I think it was for 17, 18 games. 44 sacks of the season. He's at 22 in the last 4. We're only at week 4, guys. I'll come back to that. But like I was saying, with the Seahawks, they're a quarterback away. They are legitly in the same position that my Commanders are in, where they have a good receiving core. They got a good running game. They got an excellent coach who's proven, and they got, as we have also seen, an elite defense that can get to the quarterback at almost any given moment whatsoever. They are literally a quarterback away from being the same Seahawks that we all come to know and love the earlier part of last decade. Um, but yeah, the Giants, they in trouble. They in trouble. Their O line is trash. Like I said, with these sacks, 22 in the last 4 games, they don't have any special receivers. Basically, what this comes down to, guys, is the Giants made the wrong decision in giving Daniel Jones $140 million. 4 years, $140 million. They should have paid that money to Saquon Barkley. This is another testimony of how valuable the running back position is, but they keep downplaying like it's not. The Giants are carried by Saquon Barkley's offense. Period. End of discussion. There is nothing else past Saquon Barkley. They don't have any special receivers. They don't use Darren Waller. They're supposed to be using Darren Waller like they use Travis Kelce and Kittle. They ignore him. Dayball might get fired. This is Daniel Jones' 3rd coach. He's going to get Dayball fired because we all know they're not going to just trade away somebody they just paid. So who's going to go? The coaches. It's always been like that. So, yeah, they made the wrong decision, and now they're reaping what they sow. Pay your running backs. Thank you.
Henry, we're gonna come to you
Man.
for the retort with that, man.
I don't know. I agree with a lot that you said. Like, I think that the Seattle Seahawks are a very good organization. I do actually think that they have their quarterback. I'm confident in Geno. I'm also confident in Locke too. Locke came in and looked good last night for a series, his first official in-game series as a quarterback, which I thought he looked really clean. He made some really nice throws. I think it's just a cohesion thing that you need with Locke uh, for the Seattle Seahawks. But I think that they could essentially help mentor him and develop him to be a serviceable starter for that Seahawks team. As far as Daniel Jones not being able to get it done, I don't think a lot of it falls on Daniel Jones. That offensive line was abysmal last night. It was a patchwork offensive line to say the least. To know that the Giants have used over the last 3 years a significant amount of picks trying to draft offensive linemen and bring solidified talent in at that front five, and to know that they still can't do so is a concern from an organizational standpoint. It has nothing to do with the players that are on the roster, because I mean the players are going to be who the players are. If you draft a guy, you bring him in and give him a bunch of money to be able to play for this organization, he's going to be a guy getting paid in the organization. That doesn't necessarily mean that he's going to be a good player for the organization. It's the organization's job to find good offensive lineman talent across this league. We've seen teams who drafted Division III offensive linemen, and they've come in and they've been Pro Bowl guys. They've come in and been ball players. And so it is an organizational issue why the Giants look that bad. I can't blame Dayball. I can't blame Daniel Jones. Daniel Jones really did try. I mean, when you think about the contributions he gave, 203 in the air, 27 to 34 um, passing attempts, and then 10 carries for 66 yards. 66 yards is a significant amount of yards, knowing that he was sacked 11 times. Like,
Yeah.
let's talk about all the times he went backwards to go forward. If he would have gone forward at least half of those sacks, if he would have had half of those sacks, he might have ran for 100 last night. Because there were a few sacks where he was sacked 10 yards behind the ball. You know, I cannot blame Daniel Jones for all of this. And I think it's unfortunate that a lot of the issues, a lot of the problems roll downhill on Daniel Jones, because it's not his fault. Daniel didn't really do anything that was abysmal last night. One interception, he stood in the pocket until the very last second and the ball whiffed because he was being hit. Another interception was on the goal line when he was trying to make a play. If you want to tell me that, oh, he shouldn't have made that read, that was a terrible read, okay, that's fine. Daniel Jones made a bad throw. How many quarterbacks in this league make bad throws?
Right. Right.
I'm not forgiving him because this is a Monday night football game at home. But what I am saying is, I don't think that the bulk of the issue falls and lies solely on Daniel Jones and Dable. I think there are some organizational issues. They are setting their players up to fail if they're not looking for the very best offensive line that they can find. So
I honestly, hearing both of you guys talk about this topic, I think we're missing them. I think we're missing it, bro. I think we're honestly missing the mark. I don't think it's Dayball, bro. Daniel Jones just isn't a good quarterback. I honestly think he's just not a good player, and that very well can be the case because how many early quarterbacks have already been bust? I know last week's episode, Alex brought up the statistic, brought up the visual of a Zach Wilson and a Jamarcus Russell stats side by side, completion percentage, win loss, touchdown interception ratio, the whole nine. That makes sense. Daniel Jones as a starting quarterback is 22 and 34 and 1. That is not a good career record, win-loss record whatsoever. He is not a good starting quarterback. And I honestly don't know how he got his 140, $160 million contract. Whoever his agent is needs to go in the Hall of Fame because the fact that he got that makes zero sense. I feel like once the Giants are one of the bottom five teams, they're going to look to move off of Daniel Jones and probably draft a quarterback because Dayball didn't draft Daniel Jones. That is what's saving Dayball, Alex, and that's the only reason why I say they're not going to move off of Dayball yet, because he's shown he can be the coach of the year. He's shown he can have Daniel Jones look competent, even though we all know Daniel Jones probably isn't the most competent guy in terms of quarterback play. He had him look competent last year, but he can always tell management, he can always tell the GM, hey, we didn't draft this guy. So this isn't on me that he's bad. This is the old regime. Like you said, he's already gotten, this is his third coach. Maybe
Yeah.
if, if Dayball loses his job, it'll be 4 coaches. That is insane. I don't see them doing that. I see them giving Dayball a chance to maybe draft his guy. And this is the draft to do it because this class is loaded. So I like that though. That was good conversation regarding them. The Legion of Boom. Shout out to Seattle, man. I was actually, I want to talk about Seattle real quick. Then I'll keep going. I was listening to Colin Cowherd today. Shout out to Colin Cowherd, fan. McIntyre's a Jets fan. I love listening to them talk about the Jets. But he said Pete Carroll has been with the Seattle Seahawks for what, 14 years, maybe longer. He's already had 4 versions of this team. He had the team with Matt Hasselback, made the playoffs. He had the team with early Russ, made the playoffs, competing for Super Bowls. Had the team let Russ cook Seahawks, made the playoffs. And now he has this team, and they just made the playoffs last year. That just goes to show how great of a coach Pete Carroll is. I just wanted to give him his nod. So pivoting now. Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No, I was just gonna say, I think while Pete Carroll is a good coach, I think that we're not really we're looking at the pride of players who it's a pride thing right now. You know what I'm saying? We cannot ignore the fact that guys like Geno Smith, he said it last year. I've been written off. Y'all tried to write me off, but I'm writing back. Is that famous thing he said first line week 1, right? We're seeing the pride of a team that, in my opinion, the Seahawks are good, but I think they're playing above their talent. And I think they're playing above their talent because we're seeing the structure of an organization. We're seeing an organization that has been designed to find and solidify really solid talent. They scout really well. They bring in guys. They give guys a chance to develop. They have even shown that when we make mistakes and screw over guys that have been anchors for our team, we turn around, we apologize, and we make it work. And so this is an organization that, even with the situations with like Bobby Wagner, there's no reason Bobby should have ever played for another organization. Bobby should have been a career Seahawk. You know what I'm saying? Bobby's age, Bobby's health injury, whatever the case may be, does not trump or negate the fact that he should have been a career Seahawk. And even that 1 year as an LA Ram should not have been even a thought that we had, because Bobby is still productive. We watched Bobby last night, 18 tackles, 2.5 sacks, 2 sacks, right? Or he might have had more tackles than that. When I cut the game off, he had 18 tackles, 2 sacks.
So yeah, he finished with 17 total.
17 total,
9 solo. Yeah,
9
2.5
solos,
sacks.
17 total, 2.5 sacks. Like, what are we talking about? We're talking about an organization. To answer
That's
the question,
crazy,
is it the
bro.
new Legion of Boom? I don't know if it's the new Legion of Boom. I'm certain they'll probably go by some other really cool, catchy name that belongs on t-shirts. But there is no question. This Seattle organization has figured it out. Similar to the way the Patriots have figured out how they scout undrafted and really young talent. Similar to how some of these other organizations like the Packers have created this ecosystem where they've only had 3 quarterbacks over the last 30 years. Similar to some of these organizations that are structured with conscious approaches to success, the Seattle Seahawks have figured it out. They figured out what it looks like to turn over talent, bring in new talent, develop them, make them successful, make them. We watched an all-pro play last night. If you ask me, that was the best defensive performance I've seen this season. Like, we watched an all-pro play last night, and this is his first season in the league. There's no question about it. When we take a step back, do we ask ourselves, would he have been that great if he played for the Seahawks? I don't want to answer that question, but I can say it's because of the Seahawks that he is that great right now. And so we have to we
Yeah.
have to elevate. We have to elevate that the Seattle's organization is doing something right. So to answer the question, is it the new Legion of Boom? Probably not. Is it going to be a new Legion of something? Is it going to be a new name coined? Absolutely. And I guarantee you, there are all coordinators across this league right now terrified because you're saying, "Oh, Bobby Wagner's getting to the quarterback now. Oh, you got guys like Jaron Reed getting to the quarterback now. You got Brooks getting to the quarterback now. Oh yeah, some people afraid. There's some people afraid in this league.
I'm gonna be honest with you, bro. Bobby Wagner is probably one of the greatest middle linebackers to ever put the cleats on.
Absolutely.
Like that's crazy. He's the 2010s all decade team linebacker, and I'm just looking at his. He's a 9-time All Pro, 8-time Pro Bowler, like that, and that sounds as backwards as it is because in 2022 he was a second team All Pro and didn't make the Pro Bowl, which is
Right.
crazy.
Right.
So that's just it. Just goes back to what you were saying, though, man. It's just longevity, consistency. He should have never played for the Rams.
He
Never,
should,
bro.
he should have never played for
I
the
don't
Rams.
care how great of a season that was. He never should have had that jersey on.
He should have historically been a Seahawk. And the issue was the Seahawks, if I'm not mistaken, were in financial issues and they did not decide to prioritize Bobby Wagner until he became a cheaper option. And that is where I have an issue in this league because a guy like this, you wouldn't have done this. You don't do this to Lawrence Taylor. You don't do this to, you don't do this to Aaron Donald. They make provisions for guys like that. Like Aaron Donald would much rather not be in this league than not be a Los Angeles Ram. But that also says too that the organization had different priorities. I think right now
Yeah.
the organization is doing what is right, but I mean that's just a personal opinion. Bobby Wagner, in my mind, is too good. The Seattle Seahawks are a 3-1 football team where last year they made the playoffs after you just got rid of a Russell Wilson. I think there are certain things you do and certain things you don't. You take care of your guys like Bobby Wagner. You take care of
Yeah.
guys. You know what I'm saying? Like a Jordan Brooks we need to go ahead and start figuring out how we're going to take care of him. How we going to need to start figuring out how we take care of a Devin Witherspoon, right? Because, hey,
He's
Devin,
that guy. He's
you,
looking like that guy.
he's already shown you he's the next wave of legitimate talent. And then on the other side, you got a Woolen who had a quiet night, 7 tackles. Like, come on, we got to do better. We got to do better by our players. I think Seattle is in the right direction with doing that. Answer the question, Legion of Boom. No, something more dangerous. Absolutely.
Right. Pivoting now to a topic that honestly, if you decide to choose Seattle for this, I won't even be mad because they definitely are considered a winner. But let's go to the winners of week 4. Um, I'm going to go ahead and kick it off, actually, man. Winners of week 4. You might be surprised when I say this, but my winners of week 4
Oh, the Jets.
are my New York Jets.
And the
Yes.
Jets. The
Here,
Jets
here
and the
we
winner.
go.
I say my New York Jets are a winner because
Bro, y'all were on
we
fire.
lost. We're the winner because we're one step closer to Caleb Williams. They
No, not
released
Caleb Williams, bro.
they released the early mock draft. We're sitting at number 6. Number 6. And we still have tough games before our bye week 7. So I'm liking our chances to maybe go 1-5, 2-4 by our bye week. Keep on going the
I've
opposite
never seen
direction
somebody
so we
so
can get our
excited to
franchise
lose.
quarterback. Because bro, I'm explaining to you guys, bro. It's no point in this Aaron Rodgers, Zach Wilson experiment no more, bro. It fell flat on its face. We should have prepared for a 39/40-year-old quarterback, not named Tom Brady, to possibly get hurt, and we did
I
not
said
do
that.
that. And
I
we
said that.
and we did not do that by building the offensive line. I had been saying all summer we needed to get the offensive line right. We could not go in with just Mekhi Becton and Dwayne Brown at 40 years old. Why is Dwayne Brown the same age as Aaron Rodgers and he's blocking for him? That is awful. Like what? Like, bro, so that's when I knew they didn't make the correct provisions for Aaron Rodgers to be good. Tom Brady went to the Bucks because they had a Pro Bowl offensive line. We had an above average to average O line. Zach Wilson was one of the 10 sacked quarterbacks. So this thing is done, bro. Blow it up. Salah's gonna be done. Henry's been telling me Salah's gonna get fired. I've been trying to defend Salah, been trying to defend Hackett, been trying to defend Aaron, Zach Wilson. It's over, bro. Those four pieces need to go. Aaron, if you retire, I'm cool. Zach Wilson's done. Salah done. Hackett done. We need to bring in a new everything, bro. I'll pitch this one to Henry. I'll let Henry get it next because his team's the team to beat mine. I know I owe him Smoothie King, everybody. Yay in the chat. He's going to get Smoothie King every Friday for the next month. Who's your winner?
Well, I mean, that was an easy bet. I would even be willing to double or nothing that, just so that way I can appease the sore heart that you have for your Jets. But I just want to start off by letting you know that Caleb Williams not going to be a Jet. There's no way. Like, if I'm not mistaken, the Chicago Bears had the first and second overall pick.
Yeah, that's what I was telling you boys in the chat.
Bro, what?
Themselves.
That's why I keep telling this man he's not getting Caleb Williams.
I mean, themselves in Carolina.
You're getting Jaden Daniels from LSU, which is still a good player. Still a good player.
I think I'd rather take Drake May over him. If we got Drake May, I'm okay with that. That's fine. We can let Zach Wilson go. Then in that case, I want to bring Aaron Rodgers back, and I want him to Drake May to watch Aaron.
See how they don't learn, Henry?
Bro.
That's why the Jets stink. Because of what you just said right there, bro. Y'all don't know when to call a spade, and cut it. That's why y'all are how y'all are right now, bro.
I have no clue about what the Jets are going to do organizationally. I know we're talking about winners and losers for the week. My winner for the week, I don't know, man. I had a couple of winners. I really like what CJ Stroud is doing. I mean, like CJ Stroud's got the Texans looking like they somebody that might be a problem, you know? Like for this young kid not to have thrown an interception yet this season, and I was trying to tell people, stop telling me Bryce Young when CJ Stroud is on the board. I've been telling Darius I don't trust an SEC quarterback. CJ Stroud has shown me thus far that he is the best of the two quarterbacks that you could have drafted. If we want to talk about weapons, if we want to talk about who has what, that Carolina offense is much better than the Texans.
No, they're not.
A quarterback, bro.
No, they're not.
They're receiving
in terms of running backs and receivers. No, bro. Nico Collins would be the best receiver on the Panthers.
He would not.
Yo, you're talking about Thielen because he had the one game with Andy Dalton, bro. Come on, bro. Thielen's not that guy no more, bro.
So here's my question then. If we want to talk about it, here's my question. Why can Andy Dalton make the Panthers look like a serviceable to potentially winning game football program, but Bryce Young can't? Bryce Young was a generational talent from what was being said on this show.
One is a 10-year veteran that's been to the playoffs numerous times. 10-plus-year vet. This is his third game of NFL football.
And so what is CJ Stroud's excuse? He's been in the league the same amount of times, got more wins. And if that's the case, if you're saying that he has more weapons to win with, we're also going to say that he's playing in a more competitive division and has played tougher games than Bryce Young has. And Bryce has already been hurt.
Okay, quick question for you. On that offense, what player is of the value or is as good as Laramie Tunsil?
Didn't they draft the offensive lineman in the first round last year?
Okay, what does that have to do with a Laramie Tunsil, a all-pro, Pro Bowl level offensive lineman?
Bro, that's
or a Nico Collins or a Damian Pierce who just rushed for 1,000 yards.
They have Miles Sanders.
Come on, bro.
Come on, stop it, bro. They have Miles Sanders. Stop it. Stop it. There's nothing you can say. They have Miles Sanders, Damian Pierce, equivalent. All right, you're talking about an offensive line.
Okay,
Okay, that's fine.
Is Devin Singletary equivalent to Chuba Hubbard? He had almost 1,000 with the Bills, and he's their backup running back. Is that equivalent? No, the offense is better, bro. It's okay that the Texans have a better offense. It's okay,
bro. Okay.
Now I'll give you the competition that CJ's played is significantly better, and the division he plays in is significantly better than the NFC South. I'll give you that without question, because Trevor Lawrence, the Texans, the Colts are looking like they're a playoff team, and then them. So I'll give you that. Like, the division is way tougher in the AFC South, but in terms of talent,
I think now all of a sudden it's all now of a sudden very convenient that we're giving Bryce Young this hall pass to be able to say, yeah, it's okay. Be sorry. Nobody's expecting you to. You're the first overall pick. There's nothing that I want to hear. There's nothing that can be said besides the fact that Charlotte team, that Carolina team is a quality offense where a backup quarterback, a historical backup quarterback, can come.
Not a historical backup. He was a starter for 6, 7, 8 years of his career, bro, in Cincinnati, bro. Come on, bro, stop it.
He owned Cincinnati for a long time, Brody.
Bro, he is a historically long-term backup quarterback. You're talking about Andy Dalton. What did Andy Dalton win? Nothing. We're not
to the playoffs twice, bro. He didn't win anything, though. I'll give you that. He didn't win anything. Not in Cincinnati. I mean, just had AJ Green. That's it. It was just them two.
He just had AJ Green. What did he win? Nothing. And so if y'all want to argue with me that, Andy Dalton used to be a starter in this league, that's fine. He can be a starter. But he is not someone who you would expect to be. Is Andy Dalton better than Bryce Young?
He's, in terms of NFL quarterbacks, I would say probably is, bro. Yes, so bro. Apparently he is. Maybe Bryce Young should not have been starting week 1, and this is why I say that, bro. When Justin Herbert got drafted, he initially was not going to start year 1. They had a starting quarterback in place, Tyrod Taylor. If he had not got stabbed in his liver, his kidneys, whatever it was, I don't know what it was, but I know he got punctured. He would have been the starting quarterback. Think about this, and you're saying number 1 quarterbacks. Yes, he is generational, bro. I think he's generational. Trevor Lawrence was a generational talent at quarterback. He struggled as a rookie. Joe Burrow, people considered a generational talent. Joe Burrow had the greatest college season ever, and then was the first overall pick and struggled as a rookie. He won like 3 games as a rookie and then got injured. Same thing as Bryce Young, was injured as a rookie that first year. It wasn't until he got help that he progressed. Bryce Young has to get help. Kyler Murray was 5-11 the year after he was the first overall pick, bro. If you're the first overall pick, you're typically going to one of, if not the worst team in the league. The Panthers didn't automatically have the first overall pick, but they in fact shot themselves in the foot and made themselves the worst offense, if not one of the worst offenses in the NFL, by trading away their Pro Bowl receiver to get that pick.
Let me ask you a question.
They made themselves one of the worst offenses in football.
Let me ask you a question.
C-Mac and then DJ Moore. Alex, DJ Moore is a Bear now. Like, I bet they wish they would have kept him. I mean, I'm just saying, bro.
My question is this. You bring up all of this information. You're telling me that Adam Thielen, DJ Chalk Jr., Miles Sanders, Terrence Marshall, Jonathan Mingo, you're telling me that Hayden Hurst, you're telling me that Chuba Hubbard and Laviska Shenault are on the worst offense in football?
One of the worst offenses in football.
Are you serious?
So, Henry, you said a bunch of guys that on any team besides your team, I can't even say my team because I think Thielen would be our wide receiver 3. Besides your team, besides maybe I can't even Thielen on the Texans might be a wide receiver 3 because Tank Dell, they just used the early pick on, and Nico Collins is frying, so I can't even say them. Maybe the Colts, he's their wide receiver 2. Most teams, Thielen, who is the number one receiver that you keep banking on for the Carolina Panthers, is most teams' wide receiver 3, bro. He's not breaking wide receiver 2s for any other team besides y'all. Maybe the Vikings got rid of him, so I can't even say them.
The Vikings got rid of him because they have a transcendent talent at receiver. Justin Jefferson, that's not even a conversation. I don't even know why that came.
Who's their second receiver, though? KJ Osborne? Come on, bro.
Listen to what I'm saying. You want to argue with me that what I'm saying is that this offense is phenomenal. I'm not saying it's phenomenal. What I'm saying is the person at quarterback isn't phenomenal. And so we can't keep saying that Bryce Young is this all-generational talent when we watched Andy Dalton score 27 points, throw for 369, and he had guys on his offense look like ball players.
Okay.
This team does not look like a football team when Bryce Young is at quarterback. And we cannot keep blaming it on the fact that he doesn't have weapons or options. It's just that Bryce Young isn't a good quarterback. And if it's not that he's a good quarterback, he's not a good quarterback right now. I stand on the premise that right now Bryce Young should not be the starting quarterback of that team. I don't know why they're continuing to play him and give him this experience, because the truth is Andy Dalton has already shown you in one drive of the quarterback seat that he can be successful. He lost to a Seattle team that we just had a conversation about being a successful organization. They're a good football club. I don't care what nobody says. Carolina Panthers don't need to have Bryce Young as the starting quarterback. And you can't keep asking me if they're going to be studs.
And I agree. And I agree they don't. And I agree they don't because of the talent on that offense. They don't have a lot of talent on that offense. And I'm standing on that. I'm going to say this last point. Then, Alex, I want to get it to you because I want to get your winners. In that division alone, let's just look at that division alone. The NFC South. Got the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Got the New Orleans Saints. Got the Carolina Panthers. And last but not least, you have who's that other team? The Atlanta Falcons. Jeez. Oh, my gosh. Yes, my point is definitely even true. I was hoping that fourth team wasn't good. Out of those four teams in the NFC South, the Carolina Panthers have the worst offensive weapons by far. The Atlanta Falcons have a Drake London, a Kyle Pitts, a running back that they just drafted who looks like a generational talent, Algier, who just had 1,000 yards rushing, Cordero Patterson. They have Hodges at receiver. They have a lot of talent on that offense.
The at receiver,
I would say he's equivalent to a Terrence Marshall or a Laviska Shenault.
Okay.
Let's go to the Saints. Mike Thomas, and then the other boy from Ohio State. I can't even think of my man's name at receiver. Olave got on my fantasy team. Names to my mind. Kamara at running back. That's washing. That's washing the Panthers. And then Tampa, Mike Evans, Chris Godwin, Rashad White. That speaks for itself. They got Baker Mayfield looking like a competent quarterback. The Panthers are the worst team in that division offensively by far. So I just want to say that Bryce Young, he don't got a lot in that offense. Alex, I want to come to you because I'm sorry I got to defend Bryce Young because I said he's generational. I believe he is. I think he can be a quality, competent, superstar level quarterback. Alex, I'm coming to you. Who's your winner for Week 4?
Hey man, y'all might look at me a little crazy, but like I keep telling you guys on every podcast episode that we do, I always tell you guys the Commanders are one above average quarterback away from really competing in our division. Check me out. We have, and Henry knows this best, we have an architect, a real schemer. If I had my stereo, I'd stay scheming in the background because that's all Eric Bieniemy does. We were down 31 to 24 in the last 2 minutes of the fourth quarter, and Sam Howell pulls out like a wonder drive, something that you could only write in books. He was making passes that I've seen Peyton Manning throw. Guys falling where you have to put it right on the dot for them to catch. Otherwise, it's a pick. That's how close some of these passes were, and he got us all the way to overtime. Now, as Commanders happen, things happen to us mainly where we get something good, and then it just comes crashing down. But I say we're the winners because we know exactly what we need. We have a solid running game. We have a solid O line. Our receiving core is Pro Bowl. Watson, Samuel,
Our receiving core is
Samuel,
nasty.
Dotson, Scary Terry. Bro, we need
The
some
weapons.
help at the tight end, but we have enough weapons to dethrone the Cowboys for sure. We can get the Eagles skipping on a good day. We always play the Eagles great. If y'all remember last year when we didn't have
Y'all,
Sam Howell,
y'all,
we ended
y'all
their streak,
ended.
remember?
Yes, y'all did. Salute to
So
y'all. Y'all have their number, bro. Y'all
Ron,
do.
Ron Rivera, he's a defensive coach. We saw what he was doing in Carolina. We have Eric Bieniemy. I'm telling you guys, we don't even need Caleb Williams. Now that would be great. But if we get like you were saying earlier, a Drake May, Daniel from LSU, bro, we can do some things. I'm telling you guys, we just need a quarterback that's going to make great decisions and it's going to scramble when he needs to and pass when he needs to. That is it. We don't need Lamar Jackson. We don't need a Pat Mahomes. We don't need a Joe Burrow. We have exactly what we need, and we have the means to get him if the front office gets their act together. So
I'll be
that's
honest with you, bro. Y'all offense is another offense that's better than Carolina's offense. I bet y'all would take Bryce Young. Y'all take Bryce Young and do some things.
Yeah, real quick. I just want to go ahead and dispel this rumor. Article came out September 17th by Lines. They talk about stats. Shout out to Lines for this amazing article because it actually proves my point emphatically. Do y'all know where Carolina's offense based on weapons is ranked amongst the 32 teams in the league?
I don't actually.
Well, here's what I'll do. Rather than do that, I'll tell you what notable teams you shouted out that their offense is better than before I tell you where they sit. Their offense, as in weapons, sits higher than the Houston Texans, sits higher than the Los Angeles Rams, sits higher than sits higher than the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, sits higher than the Indianapolis Colts, sits higher than the Washington Commanders. This is September 17th. So I'm just telling you guys. I'm giving you guys the facts.
Well, September 17th. It's October 3rd. There's no way that you're taking the Carolina receiver room over Puka Nacua in Cup, bro. There's no way.
There's no way you're taking them over us.
You're not. There's no way, bro. Kyron Williams, like that makes no sense.
Bro, we're having a conversation. We haven't seen Cup make a single catch this year.
Puka Nacua is the best receiver out of Puka. Bro, come on, bro.
I'm just giving you the facts. Y'all don't.
Puka Nacua, Tutu Atwell is better than every receiver on Carolina this season, bro. There's no way. There's no way, bro.
But here are the facts. The facts are that based on offensive weapons, the Carolina Panthers sit 22 in the league. Based on offensive weapons. And the facts are that the teams I named below them are teams that, when competent quarterbacks are in the driver's seat, have multiple wins. The team that I named below this may not have the weapons the Panthers have, but I can tell you, if you put any of those quarterbacks in these positions, if you put their backups in these positions, these quarterbacks will win more games with the Carolina Panthers. The Carolina Panthers are losing games because of Bryce Young. They are not losing games because that team is bad. That defense is solid. That offense is solid. Bryce Young is not a ready-to-play right now quarterback. Bryce Young needs to grow more. He needs to become a better quarterback, and then you can start winning ball games. Y'all might not like the facts, but the fact is that Thielen and Chalk could easily make any quarterback look amazing. When another quarterback stepped into that room, Thielen and Chalk totaled for 250 receiving yards by themselves.
Okay, I got a question for you. Do you know what team DJ Chark was on last season?
The Lions.
Do you know what he did with the Lions?
Nothing, because the Lions room was stacked. Jameson is coming back this week. The Lions room is stacked. Don't ask me if I know where he played at. Don't ask me.
Stacked. They
Bro,
weren't
the
stacked.
Lions
Jameson Williams.
sat out a lot of the year for injuries or whatever the case is, but that room is stacked. We don't need DJ
They
Chalk
had
anymore.
one receiver. They had one receiver. Come on, bro. That DJ, you're saying guys that are wide receiver threes, bro. You're screaming Thielen as a wide receiver 3 on most teams. Is Bryce Young's wide receiver 1, a rookie where most rookies have guys that are
And
either
so
young studs or already developed. Like,
so it's
come on,
so
bro.
so are you telling me Puka Nacua is a wide receiver 1? No.
Puka Nacua is a wide receiver 1. Yes.
Yeah,
Yes.
lie.
He's in fact
Guys,
a top 10 wide receiver in the league right now. What are we talking
he's
about?
not a wide receiver 1. He's being treated like a wide receiver 1. And when Thielen is treated like a wide receiver 1, what does he do? He puts up Puka numbers. 11 for 165. What are y'all talking about?
So
It's hype. We're talking about volume, guys. We are football. We analyze the game of football. The game of football says the more passes I throw you, the more chances you have to make catches. Puka makes a lot of catches because people throw the ball to Puka. If you throw the ball to Thielen, if you want to talk about, oh, Andy Dalton's a veteran, Thielen is a vet. If you throw Thielen the ball, Thielen is going to catch it. So why hasn't Bryce Young figured that out? Throw Thielen the ball. He's going to make plays. Let's win football games. Let's throw the ball to Chalk because he's going to make plays in an offense where there's more room for him to be good, and let's let him score. We're not having a conversation of if the offense is better or not. We're having a conversation of Bryce Young not being able to make the throws right now.
I just think it's a little too early to call it, though, bro. This isn't the first time we've seen a number 1 pick struggle. Like, this isn't the first time we've seen a number 1 pick struggle. And I'll give you a better example in recent memory.
Sure.
Baker Mayfield. What did they give Baker Mayfield in Cleveland?
Baker Mayfield walked into the best running game in football.
Exactly, but sometimes it just doesn't fit, and that's what I'm saying. It might not be. But look, look at what
they gave Baker Mayfield how many seasons to realize whether or not it fit or not.
Okay,
they gave him 4 seasons
exactly,
and a bunch of weapons. They gave him wide receiver 1s. He had Jarvis Landry in his prime. He had Odell Beckham Jr. still in his prime. He had like Austin Hooper was a quality tight end. Nick Chubb, Kareem Hunt. That's getting weapons. He had a great O-line. Like, that's getting weapons. That's surrounding your first overall pick with weapons, wide receiver 1s. Getting him a Wash Thielen or a DJ Chark who is thrown away. Like, that's not.
Now all of a sudden these guys are washed. These guys are washed now because it's convenient.
No, well, bro, you gotta at least understand the difference in the weapons. Like, you see how when Baker Mayfield got a Jarvis Landry in his prime, we know what Jarvis Landry represented.
So what I'll do is I ask you this. Because I don't want to stay on this topic much longer. What would CJ Stroud be doing if he was the starting quarterback for the Carolina Panthers?
I think it would look pretty much the same. I'm going to be real with you. I think it would look pretty much the same.
I'll ask you the same question. If CJ Stroud, seeing what CJ Stroud has done
they're
so
going to be
far,
0-4.
Knowing that the Texans had the worst ranked offense as of September 17th, 2023, what would
I personally feel like it's just really too late to just, I mean, not too late, way too early. It's like too early to call it on Bryce Young, bro. This is like his fourth. He just completed his 4th NFL game.
3rd, because he was hurt one game. Alex, he didn't get to play.
He
didn't get to play one game. So 3rd.
So, like I said, I just gave you a quarterback that anybody with 2 eyes, all 3 of us have 2 eyes. We are all going to say that we'd rather have Bryce Young today over Baker Mayfield. Now, they gave Baker Mayfield four years to get it right. He had Hugh Jackson. I think Hugh Jackson was like 0 for 13 or something in home games right before Baker Mayfield got there.
Before him. I think he was before him because Baker had like Freddie Kitchens and
excuse me. Yes, that was the year before, and then they got Freddie Kitchens. You're right, but they were still trash.
But that's going backwards. I wish he would have had Hugh. Getting Freddie Kitchens is going backwards.
Well, that's
worse.
I'm concerned that you both have taken this idea of Bryce Young in college and have duplicated it to become the idea of what you see him in the league. We have to be okay and we have to accept the fact that when we put a label like a transcendent talent in front of a guy, I'm speaking specifically to you, Darius. When we call a guy a transcendent talent, his transcendence needs to happen immediately. We don't give transcendent talent time to crawl into the game. Start having conversations about transcendent talents at quarterback. RG3 for your Washington Commanders, Alex, was a transcendent talent. His impact was felt immediately. Cam Newton was a transcendent talent. His impact was felt immediately. Josh Allen was felt immediately when he came in. You took an organization that hadn't had a solid quarterback, had a guy that was solid in the driver's seat for a long time, and did his thing. When Lamar Jackson got in the driver's seat, transcendent. Deshaun Watson, when he got in the driver's seat, was transcendent.
But you're saying guys that also had losing records their first seasons, though, bro. You're saying
and that's
Cam.
fine.
These are first overall picks.
They had losing records, but I'm also talking about guys who made something happen. Darius, go back and look at what Bryce Young's stats: 146, 1 touchdown, 2 interceptions is his first game, right? That's his first game of the season. Let me give you the rest of his stats because you're going to be disappointed at how untranscendent he really is, right? Okay, his second game against the Saints, he went 153 for a touchdown. Okay, let's keep looking at how untranscendent.
So that sounds about 300 yards passing, 2 touchdowns.
The last game he just played, he went 204 with 0 touchdowns.
So 504 passing yards in 3 games, 2 touchdowns, 2 picks. Bro, he's a rookie though, bro. Okay. So okay. I know you said you didn't want to stay on this topic no more. This last thing I'm going to say in retort to that, and then we're going to losers because I want to keep this pushing. We've been on this topic for like 10 minutes. I feel strongly about that because like living in Charlotte, I became a Panther fan. You don't believe that a guy can be transcendent in a bad situation. And I say that because, again, I come back to Trevor Lawrence, bro. You know football, Henry. Trevor Lawrence was a generational talent at the quarterback position coming into the NFL. He played that first season for the Jacksonville Jaguars. They had the first overall pick that offseason. They took Trayvon Walker that offseason. It happens more than you think to where that team has a top 5 pick that next season. Kyler Murray's team was picking top 5 the next season. They only won 5 games. Cam won 6 games as a rookie. You said Andrew Luck. That's a guy that was transcendent and able to carry his team to the playoffs as a rookie. I'll give you that. I don't think Bryce Young is on the level of Andrew Luck, but I think he is a transcendent quarterback. Give him another season, bro. Give him another season, and I think he can show you next season when they get him help, when they get another early pick, and they surround him with talent like they did for Baker, get him a Odell Beckham, a Jarvis Landry. I think he can do something, bro.
But if he doesn't, you have to
get him help
because unvaluable.
But y'all say get him help. He's shown, like, his help has shown you, if you throw me the ball, I got you. Am I right, Alex? I guess I'm trying to compartmentalize what we mean when we say get a guy help.
Because, so Henry, okay. So this is kind of what I'm getting at, bro.
Sure.
Okay, so Adam Thielen is his number 1.
Sure. And when treated like a number 1, he plays like one, right? Can we agree on that?
I'll give you that because Andy Dalton did have him blow up and have a 2017, 2018, 2019 Adam Thielen type year, type game.
A 2021. Adam Thielen was doing that last year.
If Adam Thielen is your wide receiver 1, let's compare him to the Tyreek Hills, the Devontae Adams, the Justin Jeffersons, the Jamar Chases, the Jalen Waddle. Jalen Waddle's not the wide receiver 1 for the Dolphins, so I don't want to compare him. I'll even say
you naming all black guys.
No, look. I'll even throw up Cooper Kupp.
That ain't fair.
I'll throw up Cooper Kupp or Puka Nacua this season since Kupp hasn't played. Let's throw up the wide receiver 1s. Like, he's probably 25th, 26th in the league, and that's over you guys. That's over maybe Pittsburgh. That's over like maybe Chicago. That's he's not over many teams, bro. Like even the Commanders, Scary Terry, I don't think is a top 10 wide receiver one. No disrespect, but I think
Not for
Scary Terry's a
disrespect.
player. You think he'd be top 10, Alex? If he okay, well,
Nah,
nevertheless, I wouldn't take Scary
he's like
Terry
top 15.
over. Yeah, he's top 15. I wouldn't take Scary. I wouldn't take him over Scary Terry. I'm taking Scary
Oh,
Terry. That's
okay.
all I'm saying, bro. If he's the wide receiver one, he's like 24, 25 in the league.
I'll let it go. We'll see what happens this week. Who's starting this week at quarterback?
This
I hope not.
for Carolina.
Yeah, Carolina's got Detroit.
Bryce has been back. Bryce has been back. They got Detroit Sunday at
They're gonna
1
lose that
in
game
Detroit.
anyway.
Should be Bryce.
Detroit.
By the smackdown.
Yeah, it's going to
Yeah,
be a
Detroit's an actual contender this year.
That defense is crazy.
Yeah, I'm gonna go
It's
ahead
funny
and
that we talk about Carolina losing because that pivots us perfectly to the losers of Week 4. I'm gonna pivot to Henry. Let him go first this time. Give the
I'll be
loser.
brief. I'll be brief. This week, my losers are the Cincinnati Bengals. I don't know what their organization is doing. I don't know what is happening with this team. I truly think that y'all need to, and I'm talking to Cincinnati directly. Y'all just need to go ahead and sit Joe Burrows for a little bit. He's not healthy. He doesn't look healthy. He doesn't look good. I think when you got a guy like Jamar Chase come out and say, if I'm not open, I'm open, that lets me know that something's not clicking. And that lets me know that there's something on Burrow's mind when he's passing the football besides the plays, besides, making the right play. And I think a part of that is injury. And we've already seen he's been significantly injured for a year in the past. If anything pops, tears, breaks, I think he could be out again for a significant amount of time. So it's time just to sit down, give a guy a chance to heal, and play football. But I wouldn't be surprised if we don't see the Bengals make a really huge surge late in the season once guys get healthy. They just need a bye week. They need a little 2-week bye where a little bye week where they get 2-week break, they can chill, come back, and they're gonna start catching back up. So that's my loser.
Man, that division, bro, they done fell behind in that division. Alex, coming to you, man. Who's your loser for Week 4?
I don't want to say the Browns because Deshaun Watson is out, so I'm gonna reserve that for later. But they're very close. Mainly for me, a lot of teams got beat the brakes off of them. But I'd like to say the Patriots, man. They got done the worst way. The Cowboys won, what is it, 38-3. Dak celebrating, CD Lamb talking junk. And even if I'm the Cowboys, I'm not talking as loud because I still have to worry about things next week. But those are my biggest losers. Mac Jones, that defense had a time with him. Honorable mentions of Daniel Jones and the New York Giants. Also an honorable mention of the Steelers defense. Not the Steelers, even though Kenny Pickett could use some work. Their defense is not supposed to give up 30 points to CJ Stroud. I don't know how. I don't care how transcendent he looks. That's not supposed to happen. That's the calling card of the Steelers franchise. Fuck the year. The Steelers defense is tried and true and known in the NFL, and you can't give up 30 to a rookie quarterback. So yeah, my short as a list, I'd say Patriots. Then I'd say the Steelers, and then as a final round off, I'd say the Patriots. I say the Giants, and then the Steelers in that order.
Okay. You guys touched on all the teams that pretty much got ran this week. I'm gonna go ahead and go to essentially what was the Losers Bowl this weekend and go with my loser. Again, I'm gonna be short and sweet. I'm gonna go Chicago, bro. How you and the Denver Broncos, the two 0-3 teams, faced off this past week? How y'all have a lead on them and then choke the lead away? Justin Fields, bro, another quarterback that I was very high on, that Henry told me not to believe in, but I'm gonna fight tooth and nail because that's who I am. When I believe in a guy, I believe in a guy. Justin Fields was my guy in that draft, and bro, he played pretty much his best game as a pro for 3.5 quarters, and then the second half of the fourth, he just forgot how to play football, bro. He had 2 bad turnovers in the fourth that really hindered them. The O-line was actually protecting him. He only got sacked 4 times. I know that's considering he usually takes about 7, 8, 9, 10 sacks in games. So 4 is pretty good. But the pick he threw was bad, man. Him losing that fumble was bad in the fourth quarter, man. They did not need that. And they got the Denver Broncos, Russell Wilson, and Sean Payton, their first dub together. And they're even much more of a, well, I guess I got to consider them a winner because they have their pick and Carolina's pick. So I guess I can't call them a loser in that aspect. Maybe they're tanking. I don't know. But with all the money they spent this offseason, it seemed like they were trying to compete. They're not really competing. So I got to go with Chicago, man. I got to go with Chicago. Offensive players of the week is the next topic we're tackling. And I want to come back to you, Alex. Who's your offensive player of the week for week 4?
Loki, I still want to say Eric Bieniemy.
Hey, it
Even though
worked.
he didn't even get on the field, so I'm not gonna say him. I'm gonna say excuse me. I've been on my little computer right here. Might surprise you guys, but I'm gonna say 50-50 Cooper and Dak. Dak better watch out. This boy Cooper is serious. I mean, he had 2 completions and 2 attempts, but the Cowboys keep him in their back pocket for a reason. If y'all remember, I know that Andy Dalton. I know we talked about Andy Dalton. Andy Dalton was a member of the Cowboys a few years ago, and guess what happened to him? Cooper Rush. So keep him in mind. If Dak has another season where, if he has another disappointing season where he's like, look, man, we should be advancing. We should not be, having competitive games with the Giants at times. We shouldn't be doing this. The Commanders shouldn't be beating us, when we play them this year. Cooper Rush could be in that next seat, man. Dallas seems eager behind the scenes to be willing to upgrade at the quarterback spot more than we've seen in the past, i.e. Tony Romo, when Tony Romo was having good seasons but couldn't do anything in the playoffs. Keep in mind of that, guys. But yeah, Dak Prescott, 28-34, 261 yards, 1 TD, no interceptions, QBR of a 116. He's had one of his better games. 82% completion is crazy. So he had a good Sunday. So I got to give it to him for it.
And I think it's easy to forget that, to your point, Alex, because I think everything you said is true. I think it's easy to forget that offense team has Trey Lance sitting on that practice squad. Like Trey Lance don't even suit up. Like, we talking about a top 5 draft pick that we also thought was transcended. And it's like right now, like, we're not really, like, I think there's
the Trey Lance wave, but
I wouldn't say you were on the Trey Lance wave, but I definitely would say that I think there was a lot of stock put in guys like that. And I think you're absolutely right. I could see a world where Dak isn't the Dallas quarterback next year. I could see a world where if you find out how healthy Trey Lance is, he's going to his little study sessions because that's what's happening. He's gotten required to go to study sessions, learn the offense.
Yep.
You got to. He's sitting at home.
Yeah. What else could you be doing, bro? We're paying you good money, first round, third pick money to just learn the offense, bro. That's all you got to do.
We're not going to do any significant changes. We're giving you a year to learn the offense in a non-confrontational environment and non-competitive environment. Your expectation is to know the offense in and out. And once you know the offense in and out, we're going to give you a chance to fight for that job. I could easily see a world where this is the only thing I disagree with you on, Alex, is I could see a world where neither Cooper Rush nor Dak Prescott could be Cowboys next year, because I think there's going to be a high market for a Cooper Rush. We've seen that this league values backup quarterbacks.
Yeah.
And we see that they value backup quarterbacks that can potentially play. You know what I'm saying? Cooper Rush can play. Ain't no question about that. Somebody else I thought could play was Ben DiNucci. And you see, he went to these like expansion leagues and started cooking. Ben DiNucci was like that guy in the XFL. He was that guy in the AFL. Like, these guys are good quarterbacks. It reminds me of a guy who I'm still super high on and I think deserves another opportunity before he gets too old, is a Tyler Heineke. Like, these backup quarterbacks who they may not be big household names whose jerseys sell left and right, but I think that when you put them in positions to make plays and win ball games, they potentially can. Cooper Rush, he went 3-1 last year?
5-0
last year.
Yeah, that's a starter without Dak.
He lost to
Lost one?
Philly. He lost
Oh,
one. It
okay,
was
yeah, he
5-1.
lost.
He
Okay,
lost. Ended up
5-1.
losing to Philly as a
I know
starter.
he lost one of them games to Philly, but
Yeah.
overall,
He
he
was
was a
yeah.
stud.
Before that, he
Cooking.
was 5-0. Now, Henry, you'll be interested to hear mentioning Taylor Heineke that Atlanta is considering their options. They're not loving what they're seeing out of Desmond Ritter over the past 2 weeks, so they're considering that. And another thing that I wanted to mention, Kirk Cousins is going to be the number one quarterback this offseason. So I could see a world where if a Dak Prescott's available, if even heck a Cooper Rush is available, there is a certain market because
Yeah,
he's going to be the best quarterback of this offseason. So just wanted to put that out there.
I don't know. I wouldn't be surprised. I wouldn't be surprised if we have, some other quarterbacks that try to throw their name in a hat to be a free agent. I just think that, or try to get out of their deal. But I can definitely see that there's potentially a market for guys, right? I've always said if Dak leaves the Cowboys, Dak is going to be a Buccaneer. That is the next great fit for a Dak Prescott. If Dak is smart, that transition for his career is somewhere where he left from Dallas. He goes to Buccaneers, where he can make that franchise his own. He can falls into the shoes of prior to Tom Brady, a lackluster organization full of quarterbacks. Tom Brady came in, he's the GOAT, wins him a Super Bowl. You can't, there's no ifs, ands, or buts about that. Tom is just Tom. But I think if Dak leaves, I think Dak could easily find himself in either Tampa Bay or Chicago. Those are two places I think Dak could go.
Tampa Bay or Chicago. I like the Commanders, bro. And Alex is gonna hate this, but Alex knows I've said this numerous times before. It's just something about I just see Dak that number 4 in the Washington Commander colors because he knows the NFC South, bro. He knows it.
Yeah,
He would
but
still
what better-
essentially
what
be the
better-
best quarterback in that division. Because
Yeah, what
I would
better-
take him over Trey Lance. I would. At what I know of Trey Lance now, if he comes to y'all, bro, y'all instantly become the team right there with y'all in Philly. Because I feel like Dak is
and
what
what better
makes
FU? And what better FU to the Dallas
Dallas.
organization for getting rid of me than going to Washington?
right.
Like,
But see, here's my thing with that, guys, and you'll make a good point off of talent. But what Henry just said, he said something intangible. The Cowboys and the Washington's rivalry is the deepest in this league by far. I don't know another
I would
rivalry.
say probably Pittsburgh and
I don't.
and Baltimore too.
yeah, I was gonna say
Baltimore is
Pittsburgh.
big.
Okay, that's a good one. That's a good one. But for the majority of Southerners that are football fans, it's Washington.
We weren't really alive to see Dallas and Washington be a out rivalry. I think
that was more
the rivalry that we were alive to see was that Philly Baltimore.
That's true.
Not Philly,
Philly Dallas.
Yeah, Philly Dallas.
Pittsburgh, Baltimore. Yeah.
Pittsburgh, Baltimore. Yeah. That's what Henry and I saw because of Ray Lewis, big. Yeah. So, but I see what you're saying though, Alex. I see what you're saying. That is one of the rivalries people do detail when they talk about rivalries in the NFL. So I see what you're saying.
Exactly, and that's all I was saying. Well, and not reiterate, but when I was growing up, it was Cowboys and Washington. That's who it was in my small little hometown. You either like Washington, you like Cowboys, and Thursday nights or whenever they played Christmas, Thanksgiving, we always around the TV for it. But just going back to it, yeah, it's a fuck you, but it's also like more pressure. It's almost as much pressure on Dak as if he was going to New York. And do we really want Dak in another highly pressurized situation? And that's the only pullback I have about him being in Washington.
I don't think so, bro. I don't.
Yeah,
because,
I don't think so.
And this is why I say that. Henry, it might be for a different reason than you, bro, because it's similar to what you just said about Tampa, though, bro, because you said in Tampa's situation, Tom came to Tampa, won them the Super Bowl. Tom's the GOAT. Yay, we love Tom Brady. His jersey's going to be retired in the rafters. Other than that, for Tampa, it's kind of been meteoric at the quarterback position. For the Commanders, no disrespect, but it's not been outstanding.
Yeah, we don't have a good history. Right, you're right. And we don't have a good quarterback history. It's just, I just feel like Dak does not perform well in the playoffs. The reason I feel like Dak doesn't perform well in the playoffs is because of his poise. It's not nothing to do with his arm talent. It's got nothing to do with his ability to scramble in the pocket. It's just his decision making. And what I'm saying is he would still be in the same division. Instead of playing with Micah in the Marauders, he's playing against Micah in the Marauders. He's now playing against
with Chase
he's
Young and them.
okay, but
Alex, you
here's what I'm
sleep
saying.
on y'all
I'm
defense,
not I'm
bro.
not sleep on my defense. Hear me out, bro. Hear what I'm saying. The defense is comparable, but Micah and the Marauders, they get after the quarterback in a way Chase Young doesn't. And Chase Young does stay hurt most of the time than Micah is. Micah is more of an Iron Man than Chase Young. And here's what I'm saying. Here's where the most amount of pressure is coming for me is the receiving core that we have compared to Dallas. It's completely night and day. So the media is going to be looking at Dak saying, hey, you now have more talent than you've ever had on a team. You need to produce now. And I don't think he'll be able to live up to that light based on what we've seen.
Yeah, that makes sense, bro. That makes sense.
That's the only thing. Ain't got nothing to do with the talent. It's just, if we got to see the Cowboys in the playoffs and Dak's the quarterback, I'm afraid of what Dallas might do just because of who we are to Dallas and vice versa.
Speaking of Micah and the Marauders, let's pivot real quick because we kind of gotta push a little through on this episode because when our host got to depart us, let's go back to Alex. Defensive players of the week for week 4. Who you got, man?
All right, let me go back to my other little slide here. Excuse me, fellas. Um,
I can jump in here real quick while you
all
figure
right.
that out.
Yeah, you go ahead. You go ahead, Henry. I'll be right back. You good?
No, you're good. I think this is a great opportunity because I didn't elevate my offensive player of the week. But I think my offensive player of the week, I gotta go with Josh Allen. I thought Josh Allen looked really good this week.
Him and
Those 5
Diggs.
touchdowns, yeah, him and Diggs, they did a great job. 21 and 25, 320 passing yards with that 48-20 win over the Dolphins. We see the Dolphins as a powerhouse offense, and I think that's a great way to show that we can win a ball game for Buffalo, especially after losing week 1 to the Jets. So definitely want to elevate them as my offense, elevate Josh Allen as my offensive player of the week. As far as my defensive player of the week goes, man, there's no question the Hall of Famer needs the nod. The Hall of Famer needs the nod today because he has night and day shown us what it's like to pressure the quarterback time and time again for, correct me if I'm wrong, 12 seasons, 9 seasons, how many seasons?
Gotta see who you're referring to.
He has pressured the quarterback so many times in my life. Yeah, so many times in my life.
Oh, Wagner?
Yeah.
No. I'm talking about the GOAT himself, one of the pass rushers that I think go very under the radar, Khalil Mack. Khalil Mack had 6 sacks over the weekend. 6 sacks, y'all. Think about that. The Seattle Seahawks had 11. Like, there's no way you can tell me that he has not put himself now in the conversation of one of the greatest defensive players of all time. So I have to elevate Khalil Mack in this moment. Shout out to you, my friend. Can't wait for you to get that busk. Can't wait for you to for them to give you that gold jacket. It was an honor. It was a pleasure to see you go rush the quarterback on last weekend.
Yes, I definitely agree with you, bro. I didn't know he had 6 sacks. Khalil Mack's one of the greatest players to ever do it. I'm gonna go ahead and give mine. Devin Witherspoon, man. We were talking about him earlier today. Boy had a game. 7 tackles, 2 sacks, a pick 6. Like he's showing that he has the leg up on defensive rookie of the year and that he's trying to do what Sauce did and become an all-pro as a rookie. So shout out to Devin Witherspoon, man. Like we talked about him and Woolen, they got something for the future at that DB spot. Alex, defensive player of the years, man. I'm defensive player of the week, excuse me, not of the year, of the week. I'll pitch it to you.
So I want to give one. I'm gonna go in order from least to greatest. First, I want to give it to Damon Clark. For his Cowboys performance, he had 6 tackles. I think 3 of those were solo tackles. But I feel like he was a reason, not the reason, which is why he's number 3 on the list, of why the Cowboys had such a dominant Sunday. The next guy I want to give it to is Matt Milano. Um, he's the reason why I probably lost in fantasy this week, this Sunday, because I thought that Tua Tagovailoa and his receiving core was going to get off, and they didn't. Matt Milano had 8 solo tackles, 10 altogether. Great props up to him. And then, like we were talking about earlier with Bobby Wagner, 17 total tackles, 9 solos. I don't really think there's nothing else to really be
That
said.
sounds so
Um,
like
That
fake
sounds
hearing
so.
that, bro.
Yeah.
so I, it's low hanging fruit, but yeah, I just that's who I gave it to. Like you guys said, he should have never left Seattle, and unfortunately, he did.
Okay, that's a bet. And man, team, with that, I kind of want to make sure we get everything in, and so I'm actually going to go and pivot to words of wisdom for us if everybody's cool. We're gonna bypass the week 5 predictions this time because we do want to get everybody's words of wisdom in. So I'm actually gonna pitch it to you right now, Alex, and just kind of give your words of wisdom for the people, man.
Um, if you do what you've always done, you will get what you've always got. That's it. If you want something real, you're gonna have to put the work in for it. Otherwise, get ready to reap what you sow.
And for me, man, I just kind of similar to what Alex said, man. Be willing to put in that work, man. You faith without works is dead, man. You can't just pray for something and not work for it. You got to be willing to pray for it. You got to be willing to work for it. That includes fasting, praying, doing those other things. You can't just want a 6-pack. You got to go to that gym and get some crunches in, man. So be willing to get on that ground and do your crunches. So that's what I got. And last but not least, man, Henry, let's go ahead and pitch it to you, and we'll let you close us out.
I talked with a student. I don't know if folks know, but in my full time job, I help kids in preparation for college. I talked to a student who had um, a really dope philosophy, and it was a Spanish speaking phrase that I won't try to pronounce or butcher because I just don't want to do that to the greatness of that phrase that young man shared with me. But what I will say is it translated in English to put the battery in your back. And so I would tell someone today who's ever listening, who's ever questioning whether or not they're giving their best, whether or not they're doing their all that they can, if there's ever a question, put the battery in your back. Go ahead and size up, make sure that you're equipped, you're ready, get a team around you, build a network of people around you, put that battery in your back and go get it. Put your feet in the ground, dig your heels, and go to work because that's the only way you're going to be able to find the success that you're looking for. Um, it's not always easy, but it's always necessary, and that's one of the things I want you to remember. It's never one of those processes where it'll all just drop into your lap. Sometimes it just doesn't. So as you go out this week, as you put in the time, as you put in the effort to be great, understand that greatness isn't something that everyone can achieve. That's why everyone's not great. Some people who find greatness because they put the battery in their back. So you do that this week and you'll be just fine. Shout out to St. Aug, homecoming this week. Yeah.
Yep. Just like that, man. We threw
Shout
another
out,
great episode. Shout out to St. Aug, man. And until next time, man, it's your boys here at the Dynastyers podcast. We out. Peace.